Again, welcome to Insight Meditation Community of Charlotte. Let's just take a moment before I give the talk, just to kind of give yourself a little stretch, maybe if you want to stand for a second, and look around the room, we can wave hello or just smile at people around you. We're all here together, the same purpose. The strangers in here are just friends you haven't met yet. Okay. Then please let yourself be comfortable, and hello there again at home. So happy to see your faces. And those who don't have their videos on, I hope you're cozy in your PJs. Just don't want us to see. Okay. Sip. So tonight I'm going to give a talk that actually I've been wanting to give for a very long time. It'll be 9 years this fall that I did a retreat, a 10-day retreat on concentration. And I'm really excited about sharing this with you. You don't hear much about the jhanas because they're kind of controversial, because especially in the West, we're such strivers that we tend to just bring too much focus and energy and in attaining goals. In fact, you'll never attain any. Jhanas, by the way, are deep states of concentration. Okay, there are 8. 4 are most commonly taught and practiced, but I think it's valuable for us to know this about the jhanas, even if we never go there. So I'm going to give an overview of the jhanas, just so that you know it's not a particular mind that's more suitable. Just like, remember when you first meditated and you thought, oh, I don't know if I have the right kind of mind for this. Maybe you thought that. Most of us did. And then you learn, oh, we all kind of have the same kind of mind. And it's more a matter of learning and training and having support. And anybody can meditate. So it's kind of like that. But there are really profound benefits from attaining these deep states of concentration. And I'm going to share from a very popular teacher, Shayla Catherine, from her book, Focused and Fearless. To give you an idea. She said, jhanas are states of happiness that can radically transform the heart, reshape the mind, imbue consciousness with enduring joy and ease, and provide an inner resource of tranquility that surpasses any conceivable sensory pleasure. Jhanas are states of deep rest, healing rejuvenation, and profound comfort that create a stable platform for transformative insight. Throughout the development of jhana, we intertwine the calming aspects of concentration with the investigative aspects of insight meditation. The fruit of concentration is freedom of heart and mind. Wow. Who wants to sign up? I mean, sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. So this teaching is actually hiding in plain sight. It's the 8th step of the Noble Eightfold Path. So that eighth step is called samadhi, wise concentration or right concentration. And the whole part of the this 3-step part is all mind training part. So it's effort, mindfulness, and concentration. And they support each other and give rise to each other. So actually, the 8th step is really creating the foundations for deeper and deeper states of concentration. So developing a jhana practice requires training, it requires support, knowledge of what to look for, how to do it, what characterizes, we're talking about the 4, there's 8, but most commonly the 4 is what we're talking about. What characterizes each of these 4 levels of practice? And what is the right approach? How does one approach this? So even if a person doesn't go all the way to establishing a consistent, reliable jhana practice, this knowing of the way can enliven and strengthen your everyday mindfulness practice. So that's why I think it's valuable for everybody to know about. It's kind of like, you're sitting on the couch and you think, I'm stressed out, I'm tired. I think I need to maybe start moving, I need to start running. So you don't get off the couch and sign up for a marathon, right? That's not how you do it. You get off the couch and you start walking. And maybe you start a little jogging. And maybe you find, oh, my stress is down, I feel better, this is good. And maybe one day you do a marathon. Maybe you don't. Probably the majority of runners never do a marathon, right? So it's kind of like that. But knowing that the possibility exists can be encouraging. So suddenly knowing that a clear and full awareness of breathing can get me to these sublime states. So all of a sudden I'm more interested in this breath, suddenly have more respect and more regard for just this one breath, knowing the potential of where this breath can take me. So also you may get to these deep states without even planning on it, at least the first one. So tonight we're gonna look at what the map looks like, what the route looks like, the signposts to watch for. How do I know I've left one jhana and have entered the next level of concentration? I'll sort of give you a hint that just like mindfulness meditation, everybody here took up the practice of meditation because we want peace, right? We want more ease and we want less stress in our life. So we all are here because we want something. So it's like, but if we want to go from point A to B, Larry Rosenberg says, we have to stay at A. You just have to be with this breath, just this one breath. And now this breath and this breath. And what happens? Suddenly you realize, oh, I'm at B. You don't go to B. You stay with A. Okay, so it's a paradox. So all of really meditation is paradox, right? How easy is it to stay just with this one breath? Yeah. Anybody here do the whole 30 minutes of just the breath and nothing else occurred? Okay, good, we're on the same page. So what the jhanas are again the 4 levels or 8 levels of progressively deeper states of concentration. And let's talk about this word concentration. Most scholars now don't like that translation of samadhi. Remember the Pali word of the Buddhas is samadhi. And actually more people, in fact, Venerable Analayo, who's a highly respected monk and scholar, this is a quote from him. He says, samadhi is not actually concentration. It's a natural resting of the mind, a collectedness, a unification, a natural capacity of the mind, not a focusing as in tunnel vision, which for him brought up anger, because he would just like really able to focus deeply, and it made him full of ill will. But it's rather a process of letting go. So rather than reaching, remember the cause of suffering is craving, grasping, reaching, striving. It's letting go. It's actually relaxation that will get you to this state. It's kind of good news, right? Right. So I like some of the words I've come across, stabilizing, steadying, settling. This is what we're doing. We're settling, we're stable, bringing the mind to stability, collectedness. There's no monkey mind when we're in this state. So most of the time, we are working toward creating the foundations, creating the conditions for the mind to be stable and quiet. Okay. And like I said, all of a sudden you're at B. All of a sudden you're there. So it's setting up the conditions for the first jhana to arrive that we're already doing. We just need to be doing it for longer periods, and the best way to do this practice is on a long retreat, preferably a retreat with a teacher who knows how to teach concentration. So it just arrives on its own. So the methods, the breath, metta meditation. So loving kindness meditation can take you all the way. Just loving kindness. Open awareness, where it's kind of directive. I've used a combination of these, is what I like to use. And here's a quote by Lee Brasington, who wrote a wonderful book, Right Concentration, A Practical Guide to the Jhanas. He says, don't try to do the jhanas. You can't. All you can do is generate the conditions out of which the jhanas arise. And he also said, expectations are the worst thing you can bring on a retreat, and they're especially hindering when trying to learn the jhanas. So on a long retreat, someday you might do a long retreat. You don't start with a long retreat, but someday you might. To begin the journey toward setting up the conditions for jhana, you're on a long retreat, preferably one focused on samadhi. You've studied the map, you know what it looks like, with the attitude of adventure and curiosity, not striving and determined, without expectation. Expectation's okay, it arises and you just look at it. You look at it, okay, there's that. You notice the striving, you just notice it. It's not like you leave it at home. You just, okay, let me just relax. A key aspect is relaxation. Said that already. Repeat it. Contentment. Contentment is a huge conditioner for stabilizing, collecting, unifying the mind. We will, again, metta, using metta, which is love and kindness meditation. You can reflect on your generosity as a way to gladden the heart and the mind, to create this inner contentment. You want to have a comfortable posture. You want to have kindness toward the thinking mind. That's why this idea of thank you. Did anybody try that in meditation tonight, thanking the mind? Did you notice anything? Did you notice kind of a kindness, patience, and then you move forward. So access concentration is really what you practice. From this place, the first jhana arises. And your job is really to know what it looks like. What does that mean? How do I know I'm in the first jhana? So that's what I'm going to tell you. The Buddha, let me tell you what the Buddha said. So you're practicing mindfulness of breathing, metta meditation, which is a mindfulness practice, and all day long. So on retreat, all day long, no matter what you're doing, you're trying to be present. You're trying to be here. You're trying to be now. You're gathering your attention to the present moment all day long, multiple days in a row. Okay, and this starts to be the way you operate. Okay, the Buddha said, and now, sire, is a monk accomplished in mindfulness and clear awareness. Here a monk, and the monk is the person practicing. We're kind of monks. With clear awareness in going forth and back, in looking ahead or behind him, in bending and stretching, in wearing his outer and inner robe, in carrying his bowl, in eating, drinking, chewing, and swallowing, in evacuating and urinating, in walking and standing, sitting, lying down, in waking, in speaking and in keeping silent, he acts with clear awareness. In this way, a monk is accomplished in mindfulness and clear awareness. So we want to become more accomplished in just being present, being aware, mindful. And then in this process, all of a sudden we notice that there's no hindrances. There's no wanting, the hindrances to meditation, wanting, aversion, pushing away, sleepiness, dullness. The opposite of that is anxiety, worry, restlessness, and then doubt. All of these are gone. You notice there's just this being here, perfectly content. You're not wanting, you're not pushing away. You're not tired and sleepy. You're not anxious. You're not full of doubt. You're just, this moment is just great. You're here and it's fine. You don't want to be anywhere else. So the hindrances are gone. And when he knows that these 5 hindrances have left him, and please excuse the male vernacular, please. In fact, I'm going to switch to the female now, but you guys are included. And when she knows that these 5 hindrances have left her, gladness arises in her. From gladness comes delight. From the delight in her mind, her body is tranquilized. With a tranquil body, she feels joy. And with joy, her mind is concentrated. Being thus detached from sense desires, detached from unwholesome states, she enters and remains in the first jhana, which is with thinking and pondering. So we're still aware, it's me now, still aware of where you are, okay? Born of detachment, filled with delight and joy. And with this delight and joy, born of detachment, she so suffuses, drenches, fills, and irradiates her body that there's no spot in her entire body that's untouched by this delight and joy born of detachment. So you kind of know you're there. I mean, when you're experiencing that, where you're drenched in this sense of joy and tranquilized, And then all four have similes to them. The Buddha taught very much with similes to help us understand. And I'm only going to share the first jhana in the first simile. Just as a skilled bathman or his assistant kneading the soap powder, which he has sprinkled with water, forms from it in a metal dish a soft lump, so that the ball of soap powder becomes one oleaginous mass. Somebody else can read that better. Bound with oil, so that nothing escapes. So this meditator suffuses, drenches, fills, and irradiates her body so that no spot remains untouched. This is a fruit of the homeless life, visible here and now, that is more excellent and perfect than the former ones. So this is from the Digha Nikaya, the long discourses of the Buddha, and it's the second teaching in the book. So again, why do we want to know about this? Okay. Access concentration as an aspiration strengthens my resolve and respect for this breath, for metta meditation, loving kindness meditation. They're vehicles that can take me far. Just knowing that. Deeply pleasant states. My everyday meditation practice is more interesting. Sometimes it can get dry. So knowing about this is kind of, ooh, this has got some potential. Okay. Full of possibilities. Learning a skill is exciting. You may want to learn a skill. Even if one never gains adeptness in jhana practice, even if one never attempts a marathon, doing a half marathon or 10K or 5K, or running a mile 3 times a week, this knowing about it strengthens my practice and the possibilities. Meanwhile, I'm less stressed, more fit, and happier. So after a time of relaxed, diligent mindfulness of the breath practice or metta practice, thanking the thinking mind, inviting feelings of loving kindness, returning again and again with interest to the breath, you notice that the breath becomes more and more subtle, more shallow. Maybe it's disappeared. All of a sudden you realize, I have no awareness of any breath. You notice that, and great, you don't look for the breath. You just let go of the breath and notice the absence of the hindrances, and you shift your attention to pleasure, to a feeling in the body of pleasure. And that's just an overview. I just want to say this is a paradox, just like in meditation. To get somewhere, we have to be here, and we have to be here fully with interest and energy. And so Check out your one breath as a like a complete practice. So every breath in meditation, think of it as a complete practice, and see where you may end up. Thank you for listening.